Hello and welcome everyone to the week ahead commodity report, where we of course will be reviewing the markets for the week ahead. Now the month of June is certainly shaping up to be an incredibly lucrative month as the commodity supercycle gathers unstoppable momentum and continues to smash new records almost weekly. Traders are pumping more money into the commodity markets right now than at any other time in the last decade to capitalize on the biggest and most explosive macro themes driving the commodity supercycle, from rapidly surging inflation to the global energy shock to the EV revolution and the global food crisis, which all combined continue to present savvy traders with an endless flow of back-to-back profitable opportunities to generate huge life-changing wealth. A dominant theme of the current commodity supercycle that needs no introduction is rapidly surging global inflation. Throughout this year, the primary cost of living expenses, from food to fuel to energy prices, they have all been rising at a double-digit annual rate for the first time since 1981. US CPI data released on Friday that showed a further surge in those unavoidable areas of spending, with consumer price inflation rising at its fastest pace in 41 years. And it's not so different around the world. In Australia and Canada, inflation is at the highest level in 30 years, whilst in Europe, inflation is at an all-time high. Meanwhile, in the UK, inflation is now at the highest rate since 1982 and still accelerating fast. It is becoming more evident day by day that the central banks across the world, they are fighting a losing battle against red-hot inflation, and no matter what actions they take now, it will be nowhere enough to tame ever-rising inflationary pressures. Many of the world's leading economists, including former US Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, have called the Fed's characterization of inflation as transitory as delusional and the worst inflationary call in history. As traders very well know, when inflation accelerates at a red-hot pace, so do the price of commodities. Every 1% rise in inflation, that ultimately equates to a 10% move higher in commodity prices. That's why it's no surprise that commodities are outperforming every other asset class out there, and they are firmly on track for their biggest first half performance on record in over a century. Another week and another commodity skyrockets to fresh record highs. That's one of the most lucrative and exciting trends of the current commodity supercycle, which we find ourselves in right now. This year, the energy sector has become the ultimate inflation hedge, breaking records and notching up fresh highs almost weekly. Last week, gasoline prices, they broke out to all-time highs of $5, whilst oil prices soared back above $120 a barrel to hit their highest level since March. Simultaneously, oil prices in other currencies such as the pound and the euro hit all-time record highs. Elsewhere in the energy complex, natural gas prices once again blasted through all-time record highs. Natural gas prices have now tripled since January, rallying from just under $3.50 to a recent high of $9.45, notching up a whopping gain of over 175% so far this year. Friday's hotter than expected inflation data that also injected new bullish momentum into gold, propelling prices from just under $1,825 to a fresh high of $1,876 an ounce, up over 500 points in a single day. In total, 27 commodities, ranging from the metals to the energies to soft commodities, they have tallied up astronomical double to triple digit gains already within the first 6 months of 2022. And this is just the beginning, as major macro events continue to unfold, from rapidly surging global inflation, the prolonged supply chain shortages, to geopolitical risks. Many of the world's most powerful financial institutions, they've raised their targets with extremely bullish calls for commodity prices to hit fresh highs in the months ahead. According to Goldman Sachs, we are at the beginning of the great rotation as traders pull their money out of riskier assets such as equities, cryptocurrencies and FX and switch to commodities to maximize on the dual benefits of safety and high returns on offer in this new economic climate we're entering. This ultimately adds further bullish tailwinds to the supercycle, positioning commodities as one of the most lucrative asset classes of the year, if not the decade. If you've been kicking yourself for missing out on some of the biggest trading opportunities so far this year, and you still want to make 2022 your best year yet, then right now is the time to take action. 2022 is going to be a record-shattering year for commodities, and this is the first half. It has just been a taster of what is yet to come. If you want to take advantage of these extraordinary markets and huge money-making potential on offer, then there's no better time than right now. Trust me, these markets, they won't wait for you. Looking ahead, the major market-moving events that traders will not want to miss out on. This includes the Federal Reserve's June monetary policy meeting. Traders anticipate the Fed could be forced to deliver their first 75 basis point rate hike in 28 years when they meet next week, to demonstrate that they are serious on curbing inflation that continues to spiral out of control. Elsewhere next week, the Bank of England, they're expected to hike interest rates for the 5th month in a row by increasing its base rate by half a percentage point to the highest in 13 years. Whatever the outcome, both of these major events, they are guaranteed to move the market significantly, adding further fuel to the commodity supercycle. Whichever way you look at it, the case for commodities in a well-diversified portfolio has never been more obvious than it is right now. So with that, let's move over to the charts and we'll talk you through exactly what we're looking at here as we head into next week. So for everybody who watched our Tuesday and Thursday commodity supercycle report last week, you will know exactly what the plan was. So essentially on gold, our game plan was to build into the lower end of the ranges of the week at the 1830 and 1840 zone. In fact, we were gifted on Friday with the post-European Central Bank sell-off that we discussed with you. Again, go back to our latest report on YouTube. We discussed with you to expect further selling pressure on the Friday after the European Central Bank announcement on the Thursday, which would offer you a great opportunity to sniper in at the lower end of the ranges before we then get a slingshot move higher. So I'll talk you through this. The trades that we actually managed to get on with all of our clients at the Gold and Silver Club on Friday, we managed to sniper in to 4 positions on gold. So we got in our lowest entry at 1825, we got in at 1832, we also got in at 1837, and we got in at 1843. So we stacked into this position, and then we were gifted with a windfall amount of profit into the close as we saw gold slingshot and catapult higher after the CPI data. Gold gained over 500 points to the upside after the CPI data, created the ultimate bear trap by coming down, grabbing all of this liquidity, and then we had that major pump over the US session, which basically put all of our trades into a windfall amount of profit. We took the opportunity to scale out and bank some of those profits into strength on Friday. So again, feel free to go back, watch our reports from last week. We talked you through this exact setup and what to expect and where we would be accumulating on the metals. So not only that, we also added to silver on Friday as well. So we sniped into silver below $21.50 per ounce. So we got one trade on at $21.49 per ounce, and our other trade was executed at $21.35 per ounce. So those positions also moved very nicely into profit. Later on in the session, after the CPI data, we sniped in as the price action was pulling back. You can see there into the close, silver actually pumped just under 1%, putting our trades very quickly into profit. Again, another classic bear trap to the downside, which has then caught the liquidity of the swing lows here, taken out traders, stopped them out, and then we've seen a strong reversal after the CPI data. So these are the sort of trading conditions we absolutely love to capitalize on, where most of the market is faked out. We've seen sentiment in the market for the metals, for gold and silver, at the lowest level here in 3 years, which means there's been extreme fear in the market, and basically the majority of the retail market is positioned incorrectly on the metals, or they don't have any exposure at all because they've been so chopped up over the last couple of months. Whereas we are building into positions, we're stacking into trades very fast, capitalizing on these monster moves to the upside. Of course, we did the same on copper the previous week, where we had a 7% breakout to the upside once we saw China lockdowns ease. Over 27 million of the population came out of restrictions. As a result, we immediately saw energy prices get a bid as demand started to increase, and copper prices obviously utilizing infrastructure, where the Chinese government have committed to billions of infrastructure spending in the months to come. We saw copper have a slingshot move higher as well on the 2nd of June, which we capitalized on, where most traders were also on their public holidays in the UK, especially to celebrate the Queen's Jubilee, and that also resulted in a very quick windfall amount of profit over 6 trades that we stacked into with copper. As we mentioned before, when we have high conviction in a trade, we don't just build into one trade, we build into multiple trades. So in fact, let me talk you through that right now. Within the whole commodity complex, we have 16 trades running. 13 of those trades are protected as we continue to benefit from the commodity super cycle. The other positions that we've got running in a lot of profit right now, they are Brent crude oil and WTI crude oil. We've been in these trades with our clients over the last couple of months, and now we're targeting the swing highs here. So going back to the March highs, you can see that gasoline prices, they essentially broke out to all-time highs last week, back to 4.3. We're looking for further upside as we continue to go through the summer driving season in the USA with peak demand for energies. We've already seen that over the last week with gasoline prices breaking out to all-time highs. You've seen essentially oil prices, both Brent and WTI crude oil, breaking back out towards the March highs, and I'm looking for another run up back towards those swing highs to take more profit off the table for both WTI crude oil and Brent crude oil. Clearly you can see the markets are offering you some massive opportunities week to week to benefit. As we enter a new economic climate, the importance of having an essential income generating skill like trading, that has become a must-have necessity. If you want to actually reach your long-term financial goals in these rapidly changing markets, then you can't just stockpile cash in a savings account, because rapidly surging inflation, that will erode your wealth and purchasing power. Instead, you need to make your money work as hard for you as you've worked hard for it. With that said, there's no surprise that commodities, they have firmly positioned themselves as one of the most exciting and liquid asset classes, which continue to present savvy traders with unlimited opportunities to generate huge profits fast. Extraordinary times, they do create extraordinary opportunities. Right now, these markets are a trader's paradise. Banks, hedge funds, they're making multi-millions capitalizing on the current super cycle, and it's not so different for the retail market. The majority of our clients at the Gold and Silver Club, utilizing our proprietary research-driven trading approach, they've already made in excess of 6 and 7 figures so far this year, and we still have another 6 months left to go. If you've been kicking yourself for missing out on some of the biggest trading opportunities so far this year, and you still want to make 2022 your best year yet, then you still have time if you take action now. We are seeing one of the greatest wealth transfers ever in history. The time to start making money in this commodity super cycle is right now. One of the biggest obstacles that holds 95% of retail traders back from achieving their desired success, it's not having access to professional strategies and institutional level data and market intelligence to make confident decisions with accuracy in these highly profitable markets. If you follow the wrong strategy, or worse still, if you lack access to the right data at the right time, you will end up wasting lots of time, money and effort and have no results to show for all of your hard work. If you want to thrive and not just survive in these highly macro-driven markets, then you need to adapt and utilize a professional research-driven approach. Having access to the right data at the right time, it is the single greatest difference between ordinary and extraordinary results. Trading like every other misguided retail trader out there, utilizing outdated technical analysis and gimmicky technical indicators will not work. As traders, we have a superior advantage to capitalize on every highly lucrative move fast, no matter if the markets trade up, down or sideways. You need to know exactly when to buy, when to sell, but also more importantly, which asset class to focus on and when. The greater your data and intelligence, the greater your edge in navigating these fast-moving markets with superior levels of precision, confidence and profitability. We still have another 6 months left to go of this year. Never underestimate what you can achieve in the next few months from now with the right guidance and mentorship. You can always give people the right skills, knowledge and strategies to transform their financial future. One thing you can't give them back is the time they have lost. Time is the most valuable commodity that we have. Make sure that you don't waste it. If you want us to help you achieve the same level of wealth and success as our clients at the Gold and Silver Club, then there is an opportunity for you to join our professional mentorship program. As a member, you get access to our exclusive live trading room webinars. You get access to our real-time trade ideas, access to institutional research and market intelligence, access to our private members academy website, and also support and one-to-one mentoring. For more information, just go to www.jointhelivetradingroom.com. The link is also below this report in the description, so just click on the link, make an application, and we will of course get in touch with you ASAP.